Hi everyone, and welcome back to part 7 of the Great Divide mountain bike route adventure. The saga continues. In the last instalment I reached Abiquiu. Whilst in Abiquiu I found out that my front tyre was beginning to leak air from a number of tiny little punctures, and the dilemma then was how to continue. I realised I was going to be going into some fairly remote country, so the plan was for me to take a day off and hitchhike into Santa Fe, 60 miles away, and find a bike shop and get the front tyre replaced. So here I am, getting to the bike shop early morning, managed to get a bus and then a lift, and finally reached the bike shop and sorted out a fresh tyre for the bike. So I've just come out of Rob and Charlie's bike shop in Santa Fe, and there's the wheel. We've put on a Maxis Icon, which looks pretty robust. So I've just got to find my way back to Abiquiu, which might be a bit convoluted, but going to see what the bus situation is. I can get up to Espanola okay, I think, but beyond there I don't know what the bus situation is, if any. Anyway, we'll keep going. It's getting very hot now, so I'm going to find my way to the downtown and take it from there. So I'm just arriving at Bodie's general store. I'm going to pick up a bite to eat and a coffee, get some breakfast and then head off. I'm just climbing up out of Abiquiu. I've had my breakfast burrito and coffee at Bodie's general store, which is nice. The road starts climbing immediately. There's a little level section coming up here. So I'm heading into the Polvadera Mesa. We're currently at about 6,000, just over 6,000 feet, and I think this goes up to about 9.5, maybe 10,000, something like that. So it's, in terms of elevation, height gain, it's one of the hardest days, I think. And the terrain is, from what I've seen, very rough, sandy, rocky, bouldery. So I anticipate taking 2 days over this, camping out on the top somewhere, and then descending or continuing the ride tomorrow to Cuba. The bike is loaded as usual, but more so now with well, I've got 8 litres of water to last me 2 days. Right, so we're heading in that direction. 3.5 miles in, we're at 6,800, but there's some nice looking water down there, certainly down at this level. It looks quite nice and clear, so there is water about. Gradient's a bit easier here. This is a lovely stretch of road. Getting up a little bit, it's like quite green still. Nice to be able to ride the bike again. Hills over there with some sort of pine trees on them. These yellow flowers, they're absolutely lovely. They're quite big. They remind me of sunflowers, but obviously they're not sunflowers. If anybody knows what they are, just put some information in the comments below. I've just stopped to view this landscape. You expect to see John Wayne on that top of that cliff edge over there. Fantastic place. We're back into the pine forest. Oh, this kind of sums up the riding on top. It's just slabs of rock and loose sand, and it's quite tricky. Sometimes you can find a route through okay, other times you just kind of come to a dead stop. If I can get over the high bit and then begin to go down, I'll be happy. I think I need to get past about 27 miles, something like that. Right, I've just got through 9,100 feet. And according to the computer here, I've got 1,300 to go, so it's going to be quite high when I get up there. Another 7 or 8 miles. Well, this part of the Polvadera Mesa is really nice. The ascent, once you get beyond a certain level, is fairly gradual. I don't know if you can make that out. I'm at 10,323 feet. I've done 24 miles, just over. The time now, let me get my watch. Time now is 20 past 5, and I've been on the go since maybe 9 o'clock. And that is, again, I don't know if you can see that, that's where I am. Just move that. Yeah. So there's Abiquiu and there's Cuba. I'm going to ride along a bit. I think there's a few ups and downs and then find a campsite. I've got about 4 litres of water left, maybe a bit more. So I've used about 3.5 at least up to now. And it looks like the road does go down a bit. Well, it's gone 6 p.m. I've done just over 31 miles today, mostly in trees, but occasionally you get these kind of openings and you just see how tree covered this area is. You think, New Mexico, it's all desert, but look at the tree cover way down that valley there. The trail's got quite a bit better. It's very rideable at this point. I'm going to try and do 35 miles and then look for a campsite and call it a day. Then maybe there's about 40 miles tomorrow with the remaining water to Cuba. I'm just preparing tea a little bit away from the tent because I'm aware that I'm in forest and there could be some bears possibly. What am I having? I'm having some of Grandma's Skinny Minis tortillas. Something that I would never normally eat, but I like here. Spam. Spam slices. Whoops. Don't lose that. And then here I've got some refried beans that came in this packet. And some ramen noodle soup, and that's in this pot here, ready to go. I think maybe in the next minute or two. Find my spoon and then a nice big cup of coffee, because I love the cup of coffee at the end of the day. It just perks me up a bit. The sun's setting. It's getting cold. I'm still above 10,000 feet, I think. Anyway, I'm away from the tent. I've got sorted out, found a nice place to camp. Nice and quiet. Couldn't be better, really. So that's the end of day 44. See ya tomorrow. Morning all, it's the start of day 45 here on the trail. I'm still up on the Polvadera Mesa. Just packed up the tent and all the gear. We're heading down towards Cuba today. It's just over 40 miles, mostly downhill, so it should be a much less effortful day than yesterday was, which incidentally involved something like 4,000 feet of climbing. over the course of the day. I've got a few admin things to sort out in Cuba. It does feel now like I'm getting towards the end of the ride. I'm going to have to work out how to get home, so I'm going to have to start looking at booking flights. So that's the plan for today. Get down to Cuba maybe for lunchtime or early afternoon, and take it from there. It's not often you get a break in the trees, but when you do, you get these huge views. Just look at the extent of the forest. It's massive. There's a mountain away over there. I wonder if that's the direction the trail goes eventually. Cuba, I think, is about another 17 miles down there somewhere. Arriving into Cuba. So I've made it to Cuba. It's just gone 3 o'clock, 3 p.m. I'm at the Frontier Motel. So here's the accommodation for today. Splashed out a bit. There's the bike. Here we go. These are the facilities. Just one night it'll do, and then I'm heading into the area leading on to Grants, which is quite dry, so I'm going to need to think about water. Morning, it's day 46. I'm just leaving Cuba, heading towards Grants. It's going to take me a couple of days to get to Grants. Looking forward to today, really. It's kind of through the desert, I suppose. I'm going to carry a fair bit of water, but there are wells and water pumps and things, hopefully. Anyway, here's a view forward. I'm on the road for about 10 miles and then head off into the back country. Look at that for a sign. So here's my turn off the main road, 10 miles behind. Here we go. Well, there goes the road. We're definitely in the countryside now, but it's pleasant cycling. The road conditions are pretty good. Obviously there's no sign of rain, which is not what you want to have on these sort of roads, but anyway, it's quite pleasant. A new view opens up. Interesting formations. So we left the the highway there. We're back on gravel roads. A little bit of a cloud forming in the distance. I'm just fascinated by that big feature up ahead there. I think it's to do with a volcano that's extinct, and that's the kind of central core, the plug that's sort of solidified. Well, the further south I go, the more desert-like it becomes. Whoops. Ooh! All these canyons and mesas. There's a farm over there. Maybe some water. I'll need to check on the app. And you can probably see behind me the route's got a little bit more choppy, bit of hiker bike. There's these kind of like steep escarpments that you have to get up, and you go along the top for a bit and then drop down again into kind of like a big gully, or yeah, or a canyon. That's the way up, and it's I think I'm about 52 miles in, so I'm doing okay. Yeah, I think we're about 63 miles in. I'm hoping now that there's going to be some water supply. I've got quite a way through the stuff that I've brought with me, so it is now imperative that whatever there is along this road hopefully works and provides water. I'll keep you posted. So I've made it to this looks like some sort of solar powered motor up there. I've kind of pulled on this lever thing here, but nothing seems to happen. And the water that's in here, I'm not too sure I want to take that, so I'm going to continue on to the next option. Somewhere over there. There's some rain coming. Maybe miss it, I'm not sure. Look at those rock features. So my road is climbing up right towards where the main part of the storm is, so I'm kind of like holding back a little bit, waiting to see what happens. Hopefully it'll pass away over somewhere. It seems to be going over in that direction. Look at the clouds behind. They look like something out of a Walt Disney movie. But the ones up here, they're very threatening. So the thunderstorm has passed through and turned the track into peanut butter mud, basically. It's still rattling away over there, but the rain stopped. But it's enough to kind of stop me in my tracks as well. There's mud everywhere, and if you try and ride it, it just kind of like splatters everywhere, and it's just impossible to get any traction, so you're sort of slipping and sliding. Anyway, there's a water pipe apparently about 3 miles away, so I think I can well, I'm going to have to try and walk to that and see if I can get some water, because that's the next issue now. Getting water for the evening. Look at that peak in the distance. Morning all, this is the start of day 47. Just having a look at the map to see what the route is like onwards from here. I'm sort of camped between Cuba and Grants, 40 miles away from Grants, so I did quite a long day yesterday, 75 miles. So here's the map, you can just make that out. Cuba's up here. Came down off the route from Abiquiu the day before yesterday, down the main highway and then into the sort of this sort of wilderness area basically, and that's where I got to. Yeah, so I've got from here down here over the San Mateo area and then down to Grants, and then I'm going to need to resupply again because the route onwards there doesn't seem to be many towns or places where you can buy stuff, so it's a bit chaotic because I arrived here yesterday having got stuck in peanut butter mud. You can see there the bike is looking in an absolutely shocking state. I mean, it's definitely rideable and certainly better than it was when it's covered in the mud, but once it dries it just goes like rock. But this is the scene from the tent this morning. Look at that for a mountain. That is one heck of a structure. So that's the route forwards today over that little knoll there. So as I climb up this hill, I think towards San Mateo Mountain and San Mateo Spring, just a bit too steep for me at the minute. That's generally the direction I'm going in. There's a tree in the way, there we are. Over that mountain and then down. So we've got about 9 miles of climbing, about 2,000 feet of ascent. And I don't think I drank enough. I should have filled up my water bottles at the very first well, but I didn't. But I think I was quite dehydrated. But a guy has just passed me in his pickup, give me 2 bottles of water and a bag of crisps. I just couldn't believe it. But gosh, how nice is that? Downloads on Spotify makes this climb bearable. Bit of style council. You have to put power in your legs. Getting there. Another 675 feet to climb. 2.45 miles. Should take us about 9,000 feet. It's really nice to be back in the forest, and there's a bit of cloud cover which is nice, and a coolish breeze up here. Anyway, I'm still making progress up to the spring. 19 miles to Grants, hopefully mostly downhill. And here we are, we're dropping out of the mountains, the Cibola National Forest, heading down towards Grants, where I'm hoping to find the coldest drink I can possibly drink. Also, I'm coming out with very little food except emergency stuff, and about half a litre of water. There's even a cycle lane here. Whoopie-doo. How about that? Let's get down to Grants. Morning all, this is start of day 48. I'm just sat outside Denny's in Grants, New Mexico, about to set off. Quite late on, it's 11ish. Did a resupply at the local supermarket, Walmart. Got quite a lot of gear because the way ahead there's not many options for resupply. The weather forecast looks okay. Rain towards tea time, storms, thunderstorms, that kind of stuff. So here's where we are, Grants, and heading down towards Pie Town. I think for me I'm just going to take this El Malpai alternative, which goes down country road and then eventually onto gravel towards Pie Town. Probably won't, well, I definitely won't make it to Pie Town today, but somewhere in between. See if I can do 40 odd miles or something. Let's see how things go. Right, let's get down there. Lorry. Yeah, so I'm on this El Malpai road, and sort of like lava beds over there. That black layer, it's like something you might have seen, I suppose, Iceland or something. Interesting to see it. So I've just come to the El Malpai ranger station, and gates are shut, no water at the ranger station. This is the kind of thing you got to kind of plan ahead for, really. I'm sure there'll be water further on. So the road just takes you alongside the these big sandstone cliffs. Quite impressive. I'm not sure if it'll take you out that way. That's an interesting sign, watch for water. It's like the story of cycling in New Mexico, I think. There's no water back there. I think the next water is at a place called the TLC Ranch, which is about another 35 miles further on. So I'm going to have to pitch for that, I think. Clouds are building up. Oh yes. Oh dear. That's the ventana, the window, the natural arch along the line of these cliffs. These ladies here have asked me about the trip and whether I've got enough water, so they're going to give me some water apparently, which is kind of them. I never refuse it. Wow, suddenly from the top of this hill the landscape sort of opens up. It's like a different world out here. Just big expanses of flat land with these isolated bits of high ground, mesas and buttes or whatever. Amazing. Look at the thunderstorms, the showers over there. This one's been with me for a while now, but it's staying over yonder. Pie Town! That's what we like to see. Hopefully get there tomorrow lunchtime. So we're going off the asphalt road, heading over to the left. Just check the road. Nothing coming. Here we go. And we're back on gravel. It's 6:30. I think the camping ranch is just down here, but lovely view from the top of this rise here of the mountain range beyond. That's quite a profile. And the clouds, there's rain about, but currently dry here, which is good news. Morning all, it's Thursday the 22nd of August and I'm at the appropriately named TLC ranch. I got here about 6:30, maybe even 7 o'clock last night, because I had a late start from Grant's, and the owner was at the gateway chatting to a neighbour and he just sort of waved me in basically. So hikers and bikers can camp. That's the farm down there, and this is the area that we have. Got a little covered spot for well, last night it was raining, so I was in here making me tea. Look at those mountains away in the distance. He's on digging a trench. He wants to put some electricity in or something. There's the bike, still plastered in mud from shenanigans a couple of days ago, but it's running okay. So there's a bit of water here, even a little bag of apples. Right, we'll get cracking, see what happens today. Heading towards Pie Town. Just arrived in Pie Town, and this is clearly Toaster House. Great stuff. Pies. You just want to try it. Got my bike into the shelter. Wow. As forecast from lunchtime onwards. So now that the storm's passed, I'm just having a quick look around Pie Town. At the top of the road here, this collection of windmills and old trucks. So I guess that's like the modern style of truck, and that's the older version. They don't seem to have evolved or developed that much They still look pretty much the same as they ever did. And there's the other restaurant, cafe. I might just go in and see if I can have a bit of pie. Yeah. So this is the noted toaster house. Let's have a look inside. It's really nice how it's being left for hikers. I think predominantly CDT hikers, but there's water still on tap. There's electricity. I did find a light switch somewhere. There's space upstairs. Amazing spot. So it's just left open for people on the CDT trail and bikers to use. So I'm going to get my gear in and just spend the afternoon, I guess, just taking it easy. Give my legs a rest. There's like a little sitting room area here. Right. See you tomorrow.